All right, thank you. So, all right, today's the second meeting of the Game Development Club. I wasn't here last week due to some personal issues, but my name is Celine, and I am your current president of Game Development Club. I know I haven't been around a lot, but the reason why is we are having elections this year for the next e-board, and I am going to step down from presidency for the school year of 2021 to 2022. Unless something happens and it's dire for me to run again, I will, but the plan is for me to pass the torch on and I'll be a mentor for whoever's next in line. So Daniel, if you could scroll down, please.
It's good or further down? Like I assume this will.
Good. So we're first going to talk about a lot of the responsibilities and the primary goals for the president, vice president, treasurer, and secretary. So just a general summary of president, you are a leader of the club, but everybody in the e-board is a leader of the club. The main difference is you're in charge of making sure this ship is setting sail and it stays on course. You can run as many projects or events as you want, but it's up to you to make sure that these goals get done. So each week we have an agenda for the club meetings. I have to conduct the club meetings. Unless something happens, Daniel or our vice president can step in. And I have to make sure that officers are getting their jobs done. We have a lot of communications between activities to club leaders and officers, and always talk with our faculty advisors if we're doing large scale club activities. So Daniel, could you scroll down a little?
Yeah, and also I noticed a little bit out of order, but I feel like we should bring up I think in past years elections happened later, didn't they? But then ASI has been pushing for all this to be figured out much sooner. So yeah, that's why we're talking about this now.
Yeah, we usually do this in I know my first year we did this in March, and I was elected secretary for my second year in the board, but it was really interesting to see that we didn't have a lot of pushing until last year, where ASI and Science Council pushed for somebody to be elected by, I believe, mid-February. This year we have to have our elected board, our executive board, by the end of February.
Yeah, so in the announcement we said this, but it's going to be February or Friday of next week, so the 19th when we're doing elections. So this is, it's coming up pretty quick.
All right, Daniel, could you scroll down a little bit so we can see annual and special? Oh yeah, it cuts off.
Yeah, it cuts off. I'll just be here and then I'll go down.
So I appoint people positions and I ask them to do special tasks. Your goal is basically to delegate and make sure things are done. You're basically like a project manager of a really, really large game. And you have to make sure all these parts are working. Everything from the UI to the promotion to teaching new engineers or artists or writers, musicians, what to do. And I have to make sure we also have really good school relations and constantly get involved with the SGDA. The SGDA is a special organization Cal Poly Pomona founded that is the Student Game Developers Alliance or Association now, where this is a national group that connects a lot of student game developers together and also brings in people from industries. Like, I believe we've seen people from God of War, Naughty Dog. We have a lot of people from Blizzard that are now in SGDA participating a lot. And we are a very open club. So long as you do not conduct or induct any violence or harassment. Nan, I see your messages.
Wait.
That part out. Anyways, going on to the special duties.
Yes. I'm gonna just leave it.
The one big thing I have to say about being a leader of the club, being the president of the club, you are not just somebody who tells people what to do. You're not just in charge of signing papers and making sure people come over to this event or people are engaged in Discord and anything like that. You are in charge of creating the leaders of the next generation of game development or for the school. To be a good leader, you're not just making sure people are following you. A good leader is somebody that creates new leaders. All these tasks are making sure that we are teaching people the next steps, what it takes to be a leader and or game developer, or musician, writer, graphic designer, artist, any of this sort. Do we have any questions here about any of these tasks or any of the primary responsibilities of the presidency? Anyone raising their hand or anything?
Yeah.
No? All right. So moving on to secretary. So secretary, you guys think this is like the office job where you write for the big CEO or something? This is really important for the secretary. They document everything that's going on in the club. Bryce is our current secretary. Bryce, do you want to talk about what you do?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I can talk. So we do the weekly meetings. So these meetings on Tuesdays, and then we jot down the notes and events that occurred and what we're planning to do, or what we have discussed during the weekly meeting. This would be called like the weekly minutes. And then also, if we do any meetings outside as like a board meeting, we also discuss. I would also write down those meetings, and then post them for anyone else on the board who could not come. And then the weekly meetings will also have to be sent to Science Council, and like about 24 to 72 hours after the meeting's done. But other than that's what we have been doing currently online. But in person, we might also have to do meetings, like schedule activities and the other events. But yeah, that's all of we've done for since COVID times, though.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff has changed a bit since
Pre-COVID times, you are in. Yeah. Pre-COVID times, you are in charge of booking the rooms for events, including club meetings, workshops, and in the past, booking the rooms or buildings for the SGDA conferences, for hackathons, and much more. You don't need to have good handwriting for secretary. Well, yeah, you don't need good handwriting to be a good secretary. Because I was a secretary, my handwriting sucks. You have no idea how many times people have asked, what did I write down on papers? But your primary goal is to make sure that everything is written for the records, because we usually refer to the records to make sure, A, how did the event go? B, what did we do that day? And C, Science Council watches you. Big Brother's watching.
Oh
always watching. Do we have any questions?
Does it have to be handwritten, or could they also be like type if you have like a laptop with you, like pre-COVID or something?
So, okay, currently with COVID times, we are saying yes, it's fine to type. Previously before COVID, it used to be all handwritten, but now due to COVID, everything can be just typed out.
Okay.
They just want you to make sure it's done in a formal font, like, I don't know, Arial, Times New Roman,
Comic
no
Sans.
Comic Sans or anything. Yes, Raymond, no Comic Sans.
Okay.
Would take it.
If next year's secretary is doing something in Comic Sans, I'll be still around and I'll be upset.
No, but you'll be banned. I mean, never
Oh,
mind.
yeah. If you guys don't know, it's a tradition of the club that's been running for like 3 years now. The new president of the club has to ban the old president of the club.
Yeah, so I mean that's an unspoken rule. If you become president, you get that honor of banning Celine. So
I forgot to put it on that document, but I guess for formal reasons we should not.
oh. Okay.
All right, so any other questions about secretary? All right, so moving on to vice presidency. So VP will have the same responsibilities as presidency. And if president is stepping out for some reason for meetings, the vice president will step over. Or in case of emergencies, vice president will take over as, what's that word? Not inaugurated.
Acting president.
Interim acting. Thank you, Raymond.
Yeah.
Interim president, till otherwise noted. And for some reason, if the president gets removed from office, which is possible, vice president will become the new president. Daniel, would you like to talk about your current responsibilities for this year?
So for this year, my main I've been kind of it's like in a lot of ways it's sort of like a flex role of just if we need if there's just like where we need something handled that Celine isn't handling directly herself, I can step in for that. It hasn't always necessarily been like this, but for this year I've been the main one just in charge of like emails, and I've also like for some I know that let's see, last year was it VP was in charge of all the workshops, right? So
yeah,
we've kind of moved away from that, at least for this semester. We are going more towards that again, so I am in charge of the workshops. And in other cases, just like running events, and like if Celine can't make it for some reason to a meeting or something, it falls on me to make sure that something's actually going to happen for the meeting. So it's not as much of like a you necessarily have like, I mean, it's good to have a general idea of what you're doing each week, but sometimes that might change a bit if just somebody can't do something. Like if like the thing people think about is like if president can't perform their duties, then VP steps up. But that can also apply to secretary and treasurer. Something happens, like VP is there ready in case something happens to anybody else, basically.
it's also like traditionally you can assign the vice president to have any role in the club. Or, if the vice president wants to take on certain projects, that's up to them as well. They just need to make sure that they are helping out with the rest of the board and making sure that things are still being run. It is possible to have co-presidents. It hasn't happened yet, but there have been clubs and organizations where co-presidency has happened. So I guess if anybody tries to do co-presidency, that's something we will have to discuss in the future. But does anybody have any roles or roles? Does anyone have any questions for the role of vice presidency? And then Nandan was asking for a question. So Nandan asked, is it possible for people to try to run that can't really run? Can you run if you're not there for part of the academic year or for all of the academic year? So you have to be currently enrolled in Cal Poly Pomona for the whole academic year, and you must be at least 10 units, 10 semester units each semester to be currently or to apply for a position of the club.
I had them handy. I'd pull up the bylaws because this is one of the things that ASI requires. You also have to have a I forget what the minimum GPA is, but
for officers it's 2.0. For presidents, for vice president and president, it has to be 3.0 and above.
Yeah. Okay.
If there is a reason why, we can talk about it. If there's a reason why your grades are a little funky, like you're on the border or something, we can talk about it with ASI and we'll try to make a bargain for you to get your grades up. So that's something we can definitely work on. Now, does anyone have any questions?
Either related to that or vice president or whichever.
All right, so moving on to the last role, treasurer. Sam isn't currently here for treasurer, but treasurer is a very, very important role. Each role is very important, and there's no role that's above or below. So treasurer is, like it says, you handle the money of the club. Even though this year we did not have a membership fee, semesterly and annually, we need to still keep check on what comes in financially and what goes out. So if you are buying something for a club event, like let's say games to hand out as a raffle prize, the treasurer has to be in charge of writing the forms, purchasing the prizes, and if the prize is above $50, they would need to fill out some special forms to ASI saying how much the prize is and what was that prize. You're also in charge of trying to get the person reimbursed for any payments or for buying anything for the club, and doing an annual budget of the club. That budget determines how much money you will get for the year for the next term.
Yeah, this is part of why, or a big reason why ASI wants all this election stuff figured out now, because they want to have budgets figured out earlier rather than later. So if you do go for the position of treasurer, that will be one of the things you'll have to do before next year even begins. Is you and the new treasurer and the old treasurer do have to work together basically pretty early on just to figure out what that's going to look like.
It used to be pre-COVID times, one treasurer, I believe, just carried around the money box. You would have the actual physical money box of all the club funds. I know we tried to do Venmo in the past and PayPal, but ASI does not want to do that at all. They actually outlined in the rules this time not to use any online payments, which really sucks. I know if you try to do anything and there's no ATM around, but it is what it is.
Wait. So that applies to while everybody's online, right? So that's kind of goofy.
I know. It's really dumb.
Yeah, and that's why we don't have paid memberships this year.
Yeah, it used to be about, it was like $15 for a semester, $20 for two semesters. And fun fact, if you buy the annual membership in, let's say, the spring, that second semester carries over to the fall. And the treasurer will keep track of who's a member, who's a paid member, and who's not. It used to be a requirement that you must be a paid member to run for these roles, but we're changing that. We won't allow that. Well, we're not doing that for this year.
So I mean, you can't really, like, that's kind of impossible for anybody. So yeah.
We'll be looking at your involvement, or like how often you're participating in Discord or come to events. We'll also be looking at your personality. We'll be doing a lot of things.
Well, I mean, you mean for deciding if somebody's a member or not, or?
For running.
Yeah. Okay. Or yeah.
We're always watching. We are always watching, you guys. You may see me offline all the time, but no. I am in the shadows.
Wait, but your phone broke.
I'm using my dad's old phone.
Ah.
That's why it's sort of janky right now when I'm speaking.
I see.
But right now, my computer also be jank.
Okay. Wait. So let's see, do we want to move on with questions, or do you have more to talk about for treasure?
No, I believe that's it. Do we have any more questions?
Whether for treasure or for any of the other roles, or just anything in general related to all this.
Now,
I have a question. I'm more interested in running for vice president than president. What happens if I get voted for president instead?
So the way it works is everybody who's running for president or vice president must do the presidency role. The runner-up becomes vice president. So whoever is chosen for president, runner-up will become vice president.
Okay, but what if the winner wanted to be vice president and not president? How does that work?
Do we want to split it to be president and vice president elections? That is something we'll discuss with current e-board later today, and we'll get back to you about that. We'll probably make an announcement about that.
Sounds good.
Winner, I guess letting the winner choose is also a good idea. It's usually been tradition that whoever gets the most votes for presidency will become president, and then runner-up becomes president.
Vice president.
Vice president.
Nah, it's the other way around.
Want to be co-presidents, that's also up to us. Daniel?
Oh?
Oh, did you have anything to add?
No, I'm just making some terrible pun. Not even pun. Oh, never mind. I have nothing.
All right.
Well, I mean, I have something unrelated to all this, but that's waiting for after all this.
All right, so any questions? And just to let you guys know, applications are up. We are accepting applications through February 18th. That is a Thursday till 11:59 p.m. So when the time comes, we are closing the application.
And how do we submit the applications to you?
So you are going to make a copy of your application, and then you are going to DM it to my Discord account. So if you are not currently on the Discord, raise your hand.
I'm not friends with you.
Well, you just need
It's
to
okay.
be on the server, and then you can send a DM.
All right.
I currently allowed anyone to anyone to DM me from this club. Please do not abuse that.
I mean, I have it set like that, and I haven't had it. I've had some random DMs from people, but I just block them. So if you don't want to get blocked, don't abuse it.
Do not want to be blocked by me. So you make a copy of this application, and you will be able to create a copy, and you need to send it to me via Discord. And make sure it's submitted before next Thursday, 11:59 p.m. I will also drop in the chat our email for the club if you want to email it that way.
Yeah, for
So-
some reason Discord doesn't work or something. You can email
Yeah.
it.
Do we have any questions?
I guess I do. I should probably add, like, I'd say I've definitely learned a lot from, my position as VP. Like, it's been kind of tough with the unexpected, we're all online. Like, that's been quite the shift. But it has also, overall, I'm glad I went for it. And it's been great getting to work under Celine and everyone else. So, yeah. I would
For me-
recommend it.
Yeah, it's really hard for everybody this year since no one expected to go online. For me, it's really hard because I have health issues that cannot be controlled. And I know it's really hard to be a president, have health issues, and then also be working a full-time job. But I really do care about this club and I want to make it work. However, I am going to be graduating next year and planning to do a research project and try to get into a master's. So I have to make sure that, put myself forward, take care of my health first. I'm probably going to stop working next year just so I can focus on my health and for school. But if I do change my mind, maybe I will run. Who knows?
Yeah, it's I forget how many of the current U-board are you and me are both gonna be done this semester. So I forget, is everyone else on E-board also gonna be graduating, or?
I think it's only you.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
right.
still gonna be here.
I still
Okay.
be here.
I still have a little bit of time because engineering my dudes.
Yeah.
Bryce will be here until the end of time.
Oh,
Oh,
I might be here. I actually decided to be at Pomona till the end of time
Seriously? Wow.
because I'm applying to go to the masters at Pomona.
Oh, that makes sense.
And then who knows? I might actually go for another degree. Maybe I'm crazy.
Can you? Wow,
Get that.
multiple degrees in Pomona. That's so long.
Get that
Right.
PhD.
Yep.
And then get comfortable. That's all I gotta say.
I love Pomona. I don't love the parking, but I love Pomona.
Every student hates the parking apparently.
Every student hates parking. God.
I've
But
yet to drive a car to CPP, so I don't know how much I'll hate it.
Oh, you
It is-
will.
You will. So So it's 12:40 p.m. Daniel, would you like to talk about what we are doing for workshops and for the following semester, or for this semester? I'm sorry.
Yeah. So on the give me a second. Yeah. So we will be talking about so Nandan will be releasing the next video in the workshop or in the mini series about for raycasting and all that. That's going up this Friday. He'll be talking about having the player character die, so handling that and respawning, doing stuff with like fancy collision stuff with moving platforms and things, and also switching over to like using this collision system for a top-down game. So just showing that what all that raycasting stuff that he went over in the first video can be used for other things beyond just platformers. And also, if you missed the workshop for last week, that video for that should be going up within the next couple days. For that, we were going over just how to make the platformer side of it feel better, and even getting a little bit into reusing it for doing like an AI controlled character. And I know we've mentioned this in passing before, but the way that we're handling game projects and game pitches this semester is changing a little bit, where we're not going to be doing that until I forget. Is it going to be, so we're going to have like a week just before the break. I think that we're going to wait until after spring break though to actually do game pitch.
We are going to do game pitches and game projects after spring break.
Yeah. Okay.
So for those of you who are new with us, we do semesterly projects with the club, and everybody breaks into teams and they will design a game. This semester, however, we wanted to take a little spin on this. We are going to turn this into sort of like a game jam, where you'll have a shorter time period to create a game, and you will need to work in small teams to make this game around a theme. So we're going to keep the theme a secret, but you guys will be building a game, and we want to see your weekly or bi-weekly progress.
Yeah, so it's
technically fortnight. So every other weekly.
Don't say that word.
It's Fortnite with IGHT, but not ITE. Come on, man.
Fortnite is dead. I mean, Ninja
Yeah, so it's got a theme, but it's gonna have it's still gonna be basically for longer than just a game jam, which is normally like a week or something. You're still gonna be basically the rest of the semester, but the idea is just to have it be a bit more focused. And for any of you who have any interest in going into the game development industry specifically, I'd say this is probably one of the best ways to get some practice for that, because more and more what they focus on in industry is have you done projects, and can you show that you can work in a team? So, I mean, aside from just being a lot of fun, it is a very, I feel like it's a great learning experience. So, I think it's, it should be fun and also pretty informative.
And then Raymond had a question about, does the person choose the engine, or does the whole team choose? So in the past, it used to be, so last semester, we let the person who's in charge of the teams or the game pitcher choose which engine to do it. It's going to be a team that decides which engine to do it in. Now, the person who does the game pitch, they can really try to recommend doing it in, let's say C++ and Unreal. That's up to you. But we're going to try to make sure this is more team-based. Everybody's going to be trying to learn how to do this all in a crunch. We're going to try to make this sort of like a actual. We're going to try to mirror it to industry. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
So
so
does-
I mean, I could see, maybe if there's just one engine you really want to do, say you just really want to try making something in Bitsy or something, you could probably try to form a team around, you and other people who like Bitsy. But it's not like we're choosing this for you. That it's up to the team to decide.
All right. So do we have any questions? It is 12:50. I've got another class, so I got to end the meeting soon. I'll end the meeting at 12:55.
So any last minute questions?
And just to let you guys know, I will be releasing a mini series about leadership within the game industry, or what it takes to be a leader in general at Cal Poly Pomona, and then I'm also going to be doing a mini series on writing.
True.
Does anyone have any questions at all for the board?
And if you think of any later, you're always more than welcome to ask. And these two things are on the Discord. So.
All right. So it's
actually,
12.
they'll be in the email too. So if you're not in the Discord, you'll be able to get to them there.
So it's 12:52. It looks like nobody else has any questions, so we're gonna end the meeting here for today. We'll see you guys next week on Tuesday for the next general meeting.